Welcome to the morning after CFFL edition week number 12. As we get ready for the final run here of the regular season, only 1 week left in the regular season. We will go to the action here and a quick rundown of that and then look at the playoff picture. Starting with the week's games, didn't fill the one thing in. Little Big Men take down In Rogers We Trust 54.5 to 49.5. Both teams are at 5 and 7. The Cardinals exploded for 111 points, the highest points on the season for any team in the CFFL this year. Not quite the record of 130 in 1 week. I held that back a couple years ago. Take down the Bucks 111 to 43.5, all but end the playoff hopes for the Bucks. The Garbage Men fall to the Tices, and the Tices snap their Monday night curse as he needed 13 points out of Rogers and Starks. Easily do that. They keep their playoff hopes alive, 71.5 to 65.5. Price is Right demolished the Horn Dogs, 85 to 49. They clinched the number 1 seed. The Dingoes fall to the Badgers. Badgers still very much alive for the playoffs, 76.5 to 72.5. And finally, the Bruisers take down the Gargoyles 69 to 61.5, and causing a 4-way tie atop that division. So that's crazy, kind of coming down the stretch. There's only one team. Actually, all the teams are still mathematically alive for the playoffs. The Bucks have the hardest chance to get in, but still mathematically possible. But first, we'll take a look at the the FCS rankings heading into the final week. Price is Right, obviously number 1. Cardinals, after their big week, moved to number 2. Horn Dogs at 3. Garbage Men at 4. Dingoes at 5. Badgers at 6. And In Rogers We Trust rounds out the 7-team ranking unit. Playoff picture. Number 1 seed locked up. Number 2 seed locked up. Both Price is Right and myself have first-round buys. The 3rd seed will be whoever wins the West Division. In Rogers We Trust win versus the Bruisers, and they're in. Nothing else matters for them. The Gargoyles need to beat the Little Big Men and hope In Rogers We Trust loses. The Bruisers need to win versus In Rogers We Trust and have the Gargoyles lose. And the Little Big Men still have an outside shot. If they win and have the Bruisers and Rogers tie, they will advance. Very unlikely, but still possible, and considering how many points Chad has in the year, I think that's a huge victory that he's still alive at this point. That will also be the first time since 2006 that a team with a losing record will make the playoffs. Back then it was a division with the Garbage Men, the Gargoyles, and the Kyle's Killers, who Garbage Men and the Gargoyles went 6 and 7. Griff did win the division that year. The Kyle's Killers went 3 and 10. That was the worst division in league history. This one will be a close second with 2 6-win teams and 2 5-win teams. On to the wild card. The Horn Dogs right now are currently in the 4 seed. They will play the Dingoes. Whoever wins that game will have the 4 seed. 5 seed right now is the Dingoes. They play the Horn Dogs. Like I said, winner in, loser may get in. The Garbage Men are 6 and 6. They play the Cardinals. Win and they're in. Badgers, if they beat Team Price is Right, they will also be in because the Horn Dogs or the Dingoes, one of them will lose. And the Tices need to win and hope that they outscore the Garbage Men by 30-some points, and the Garbage Men need to lose. The Badgers need to lose as well. So he does need some help, but still possible, especially considering the Badgers are playing the best team in the league. The Garbage Men are playing the second best team, statistically speaking, anyway. So that is that for the playoff picture. It'll be a crazy last weekend. Like, the Bucks are still alive, but they would need to win. They would need to have the Badgers lose, and they would need to have the Garbage Men lose, and they would need to outscore the Garbage Men by about 90 points, which is highly unlikely. He would need to have a probably set new record for points in a week and hope the Garbage Men really lay an egg. Chances are unlikely, but still, I guess, possible. Player of the week this week does go to Drew Brees, 29 points off of 4 passing touchdown, 1 rushing touchdown, and 310 yards passing. He and Mark Ingram combined for 50 points for him to help me get 111, so that was very helpful for my team to kind of explode there and lock up the 2 seed. Finally, we have some records. to look at as we go into the final week. Team Price is Right with 74 points this coming week will be the only second team to have 1,000 points in a season. The first was the 2007 Horn Dogs with 1,004. The Horn Dogs did that in a 14-game season. However, it was without the half-point scoring and it was without the flex, so still a very impressive record. 64 points next week for The Price is Right will set the record for most points per week in a season post-flex, post-half points, breaking the record set by me last year at 989. Also, Win by Price is Right would tie the record for most wins in a season with 11, and the record for the best winning percentage tying that as well. Right now, the race for the high points win, which is I believe $10 or $15, I can't remember exactly, is the leader is the Dingos with 3. Myself and Price is Right have 2 going in to possibly split that. No top free agent pickup at this point. There's not really anything out there. It's just some decent receivers, number 4 receivers out there. So that is the end of it for this week. We will be back next week with if I'm going to do the fantasy honors or the all-star team. We'll see over the next couple weeks. We'll do that. If I don't have time next week, we will get that in, and previewing the playoffs. So best of luck to everyone this week, except the Garbage Men. And actually, that doesn't really matter because my game doesn't matter. But I will play it out, though, Chuck. So try to knock you out just for the sake of knocking you out. But again, best of luck to everyone, and see you next week.